Hello and welcome back to the Crusade of the Purple Knight. This is Purple's Wizard Eldritch Knight Life, and this is level 3. Quite a bit to tell you here. As I mentioned at the end of the last one, I went on and I finished the Borderlands. I didn't push it there, I just finished it on Elite, and he did very well there. Helped in part by the DR5 on his clothing there. Well, actually, I've still got 100 potions, so he didn't use a heal at all in there. We weren't using a hireling or anything, he just didn't need to heal, so that was excellent. I was using in the main the colour spray to contain things and blind them, and then we were just hammering them with this Eldritch Strike, Cleave attack, and the standard sword strikes. So we've taken level 3. I really wanted the feat Quicken, but then I stopped myself because the wizard gets bonus wizard feats at I think 4, 8, 12, 16. So we've only to wait one more level. With hindsight, I could perhaps have taken Quicken at 1 instead of this Extend. Although it's been quite handy, we've got several spells there that are all benefiting from the Extend, so I'm not having to mess about thinking about when the things are running out. To have things like Blur, second level spells lasting for what's that, 6 minutes already. That's not terrible, is it? Is that extended? Yeah, so that would be 3 minutes without the Extend, so that would be a bit of a pain. Sit down. So we're sitting here in this quiet little corner of the harbour as night's falling. Knowing me, it'll probably be daybreak by the time we get in the quest, so let's not interrupt myself. Spell wise, we've swapped things around a little bit because in the enhancements now I've gone full on the Eldritch Knight tree, because at level 3 you can have the second core, which is a big deal for us. 2 double strike is nice, 10 universal spell power is nice, in particular because now we've got these imbue toggles available to us. And yes, it does seem to work like I was hoping it would. We have these 4 we can have on the bar, and at any time, just quickly, if we come up against something, let's say, that's healed by acid, like let's say a clay golem, we can swap out the acid one and put it to something else. Now, I could make myself look really good and know what the clay golem is vulnerable to. And I don't know, I just know that it gets healed by acid. Anybody know what the clay golem is vulnerable to? Maybe fire? The rest of that chain, the desert sands, some of them are the mummies and that are vulnerable to fire, aren't they? So maybe. Anyway, I've digressed. So we've got this spell sword thing on now. I've left it on acid for the moment because most things are vulnerable to everything at this low level. I don't mean extra vulnerable, I mean they take damage from it, standard damage. And if we look here, we see that the acid is the standout one for us at the moment, 109. The reason for that is that we have, well, the past life Blightcaster Druid gave us 5 acid spell power, so that's not terrible. But the biggest reason is this Stone Ring Corrosion 38 that we have had since level 1. I don't know why I've had that, just for the Mythic Ring boost, that's all. So it was there as a coincidence, and now it's helping us big time. So that's good. Most of the rest of that stuff is still there from the last level, with 2, is it just 2 notable exceptions? Yes. I went through some of my other characters' bits and pieces, and I've transferred some stuff into the shared bank to use as we go through, and hopefully I can show you some nice items to use for a build like this if you do decide to have a go. The first one here is this one from the Salt Marsh. Accuracy 5 should help us against all those misses we've been having, and Deadly 3 for more weapon damage. That is an amazing item. for level 3 and specifically for our build. Just really, really good. This one here, not bad either. Seeker 3, so that takes care of the critical hit side of things. I wish that was insightful strength or intelligence, but hey ho. And it's got a mythic 1 on it, so happy days. I also added in Wand of Invis, because we don't have the Invis spell at the moment. We could have taken it because we've got 2 level 2 spells now, but I chose to add some defense with Blur and some surprise crowd control with Web. Now Web's been excellent for us in the past, so I'm hoping it can be again. Between Web and Colour Spray, I'm really hoping we can lock the things down and do some devastating swinging with this this spell Sword Blade now. So what do we have in this tree? We have these 2 spell-like abilities, Shield and Mage Armor. The fact we've got Shield there has allowed me to swap out the Shield spell. Can I get rid of this? Or can I at least move it? It won't move, will it? Okay, I'll get rid of it. Swap out the Shield spell, and I've put in Expeditious Retreat for the speed boost, so I'm not messing about clicking on boots. Actually, if I'd thought about it, and I still can because I'm next to a tavern, we can get rid of the Master's Touch as well, because if I'd click on the right thing, this second core gives us proficiency with martial weapons, which the falchion is. Can you see the little imbue thing there? Whenever you toggle one of these things on, it comes up with a nice little effect, and the sort of the colour of the thing that you're using. I quite like that. It costs you 5 spell points, so it's nothing to change in the middle of the quest if you decide you need a different one on. But you do have to consider that the spell power that you've got with each one. If you had a, let's say, a terrible one with a couple of them and very decent with a couple of others, you would try and stick with those others, just like I'm trying to stick with acid now, because we have a noticeable advantage on that. Also, as it says in the text here, every 3 wizard levels we get an extra imbue dice. So we've just hit level 3, so it was a good time to be taking the imbue thing. Well, we couldn't have had it before because we're not allowed the second core. So let's have a look then at the spells. That one can come out because it's no longer useful. So what do we have that we would like in its place? I took Sonic Blast for possibly breaking of some boxes and things. Well, there's protection from evil, but it's a resistance bonus to saves there, and we already have a 2 resistance bonus to saves, as you can see on the item there, so it would be a bit useless, I think. Although it does ward from magical mental control and compulsions, but that's not liable to happen at this low level. So maybe Sonic Blast then for some box breaking, although in the quests we're going to do, I'm guessing there's going to be so many boxes, I'm just not going to bother with it because it gets tedious. Right, so that was the spells. I didn't quite finish with the enhancements, did I? And we seem to have come in for a drink with the harbour guards here. Wrong key. Right, yes, so as spell power is definitely a thing now for us, this looked really good. Arcane Siphon, so it's a melee attack, 12-second cooldown, but gives you, when it hits, that's the key, when it hits, because I tried just swiping with it and nothing happened because we hadn't hit anything. So you've got to hit with it, and when you do, you get a plus 30 bonus to your universal spell power, which is great, especially at this low level. I mean, our acid is what, 109 at the moment, so that would make it 139. With this spell power boost, 159, so we'd almost 50% bonus with to that acid imbue if we hit those two together, like on an end boss or something. So I've added that spell power boost next to the haste boost on the bar, and hopefully I'll remember to hit both when we run into a boss or something, or a reaper. What was I going to say? Yeah, this looks quite nice actually. Normally, you know, I'm not very keen on these boost type things because I always forget to use them, but this thing, the spell power one, kind of follows into the other one. The when you've got that part as well, not only do we get 30 spell power, which will help our spell sword damage, but we're getting when we have 3 in there, we would be getting 30 boost to melee power as well. And at this kind of level, you know, low level heroic, that's huge. So I can see that being a big hit, provided, of course, that I remember to keep clicking on it. It's limited only by the charges. So that being the case, it might pay us to look for things that increased action boosts. There is actually a thing in the human tree that, not that increases it, but the action boost itself boosts an ability score of our choice. So that might be worth looking at. Okay, I went over the key pieces of the gear. Have I mentioned the feat? I think I did in passing. Precision to help with the misses, so gain 5% to hit and reduce the target's fortification against attacks. Next level, level 4, we'll get the quicken meta magic for our bonus wizard feat. And I must say, I have missed that on the colour spray when confronted by a group of opponents, and he's just sort of slowly, can we show you? No, I can't show you outside of a quest. Just slowly winding up. It's just like not what you want. You want it to be right there in the faces of the opponents, and then you get stuck into them. But from the point of view of doing its job, blinding and stopping things in the tracks and keeping the damage down, very good. So I'm not complaining at all about that. Spells I've mentioned. Oh, about a word on the colour spray. The one quest that we have done in the harbour, that's the one that we've done apart from the end of the Borderlands, the Bringing the Light, where you've got to smash those, what do you call it, gambling tables. There's a section in there where there's a guard who tries to open a load of cages to free some dogs, and that can get quite hairy, can't it? Especially when as it was on Reaper 1. So I ran up to the guy as quick as I could, hit the colour spray, and just in time it stunned him and stopped him from pulling that lever. So I thought, yes, crowd control for the win. I've probably mentioned it about 6 times already, but that's my big hope for this. I think those of you who know my playstyle know I'm big on crowd control. So I didn't want to just go like a strength build and give up completely on the spell DC side of things. I want to try and use things like this colour spray and the web to the best that we can to try to contain the opponents and keep the incoming damage down as much as we can, while maximising our own chances. If we can keep things together in a group, that's where we can make big damage. I noticed as well that this Eldritch Strike, now that we've got the second core in the Eldritch Knight tree. Oh, come on, just once, the right button, once. Does it say it there? Yes, it says it modifies the damage of your attacks and Eldritch Strike. So now when that big boom goes off, the Eldritch Strike, you also get like a blast, you know, like the Acid Blast spell. There's an effect similar to that goes off when you hit this Eldritch Strike, and it's quite damaging. So let's see how we get on. We're going to take a chance here. And we're going to go on Reaper 1. No skeleton, no hireling. This is it, people. Do or die. I'm tempted to say it can't go any worse than the last Reaper 1 I tried. But that was then. This is now new gear, new imbue. Oh, I've added this as well, the Skullduggery cap. It's a Death Ward clickable also from the Salt Marsh. 10 minutes of Death Ward. Death Ward, unless we meet a Famine Reaper, probably not needed at this level, but very nice to have. So my clickable for spell power is going to be helpful to us now, because everything's going on the spell power. And I've got to remember to click these two, especially that one, the Arcane Siphon, to keep the spell power going.
The scurrying feet of kobolds can be heard nearby. It's likely you will encounter several of them in the next room. You should proceed with caution.
See there, the big acid thing. Okay. Now the sentry, can we stop him? Crud, I missed him. That's unfortunate. Right, web. Try and contain the stuff coming out of that door. And it did it beautifully. Let the damage begin. You can have some too. I think we missed him. Okay. Now let's just see what we can get with a Cure Serious. Oh! I think that must have... Can it be a critical on Reaper mode? I don't think you can have a critical with a potion, can you? What went on there then? If that's an indication of what's always going to happen, I'm more than happy about that. Where are we going now in here? Get the rage back on again. Yeah, these potions of rage and haste I've not used before. Probably because I haven't played a melee in like forever. Let's hit the action boost here. Get the web down in the wrong place. Whoa! That was effective. Even making a mess with the web. One shot that guy. I think there's some serious damage being laid down here. Now if I compare this to, let's just test this again, 12, it was some kind of a, I didn't think a potion could crit. Let's put the web in the doorway. Not so clever now, are we, people? Oh God, I think the big guy got a big fistful of whatever that was, the Arcane Siphon there. Yes. Yeah, just comparing this to the first levels of the Blightcaster when I struggled so much being determined to use the casting side of it. This is going much more smoothly, with the exception of the first 10 seconds of that other quest, which I'm very glad that you didn't see. I was just kind of sitting there with my jaw on the table thinking, oh, alright then. Goodness me, that hurt. Whoa. I'm liking these effects as well. This big boom from the Eldritch Strike. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, I'd forgotten about these things. There must not be any mimics. Oh my God, get out of there. What can we do? Can we web it? There must not be any mimics on level 1. So, yes, we can crowd control the bugger. Come on. So yes, they can be crowd controlled, and from Purple's last life as the Blightcaster, they can be instant killed as well. You can use what's it called, a Finger of Death against them, or I bet you other things would work too. So these, oh, I know what it is. It's the new change. Oh, that's great. Out of combat, healing works as normal now on Reaper mode. So these healing potions now, instead of being absolutely useless, are actually pretty good for us. Oh, happy days. Beautiful. I thought something had changed there. Happy days. Oh, not again. Okay, can I web you? No. Oh my god, where the hell did you come from? Please don't die now. Come on. Just survive and then we can heal properly. Oh, it's still counted as being in combat. Now it gives us a decent heal. Yeah, that's great. The one of the most problematic things that there was with the Reaper mode, at least for me, being a lot of the time solo, was having to sit and wait in a corner and use about 10 of these healing potions just to get back from something like that. And now we can use a couple, and we're back in the game. So that's awesome from my point of view anyway. So things that, I mean, that was almost nerfed so badly. I mean, you could see when we were in combat, it was like 10 points or so, and out of combat maybe up to 30. So it was hardly even worth using. Can we stop the sentry? Go on. Oh yes, that's the colour spray. Beautiful. Can we do that again? No, that was a boo-boo. That was a total mess. Aided a little bit by some lag, but that's not an excuse. So I've got to get used to waiting a bit until I'm out of combat, and then boom, back up to top again. Right, let's get the buffs up now for the end. Have some of that. Have some of that. Get the door blocked so the minions can't come flying through. And you, sir. Oh, I've got it. I should put some dodge on. There. Oh, yes. And a Reaper point as well. We took a bit of hammer there. But we got there. Happy days. I'm super pleased that we can now use these potions. That's going to be a great help. We were able to hold the Reaper, not all the time, but the colour spray did work. The web was very effective, and the two arcane based sword attacks are kicking ass now. So I'd say we're in a good place here. The little changes I've made to the gear with the definitely this sailcloth cloak. So we've got I think the three big ones for us are the accuracy, deadly, and seeker, aren't they? None of which I had on the gear before level 3. So that's made probably quite a decent change. And that imbue thing, I mean, I didn't pay too much attention, but in the quest before I was having a look, and it was doing sort of 30-40 damage, was it? Now I'm pretty certain that an imbue can't crit, but even so, we've only been hitting for 30-40 damage on a crit, I think. So if it is doing that, then it's doing really nicely. And there were some instances in that quest we just did where things were getting, like big bosses were getting torn to pieces. So I am most impressed with how we've started out, I must say. Long may it continue. So I'm planning now to go around and do most of the quests in the harbour, and I think there's another couple of level 2 ones. Yeah, there are in the sort of sewers area of the marketplace. So that's going to be the next thing, and then we will be going on into the catacombs, the level 3 chain in the marketplace. Now that will be a test for us because nothing will be colour sprayable in there, so we'll be relying heavily on the web. It's probably just as well actually there that we don't have quicken on these things, because that mana bar soon gets worn down if you start quickening everything. Right, I think I've waffled on enough. I am super happy with various elements of that. I think it's beginning, even at this low level, to come together quite nicely. We didn't need the skeleton, which I'm also happy about. As I said to one of you in the comments, it's supposed to be the Purple Night Crusade, not the Night of the Living Dead. So I think it would look a bit cheesy if I lent too heavily on the skeleton. Although I could understand if a caster, or even more so, one of the ranged characters was doing that, you know, to get sneak attack damage and that. But this character's supposed to be in there and getting stuck in, so I need to find a way to do that without relying on someone or something else to take all the damage for me. So that's what I'm going to try and do with the crowd control. I'm really pleased with how the web and the colour spray are working at the moment. Further down the line I've had a look, and I'm hoping we might be able to go into the enchantment side of things for the... Well, initially there's the hold monster, isn't there, for a single target, and then later on we've got the disco ball thing, which can be very effective, and then the piece de resistance is the mass hold, of course. It's been some time since I've played a character who has that, although it can be argued that the Blightcaster has something every bit as good. So I'm looking forward. I mean, just imagine setting a mass hold off from distance and then closing with the things and hitting this Eldritch Strike thing and just hammering everything. I am totally looking forward to that. The only downside, of course, unlike our last life where we were on the other side of the map sometimes from the things we were annihilating, this has to be up close and personal with everything. So if things are not crowd controlled, especially those red crowns, when they start coming, we're going to be in trouble. So that's something we're going to have to try and be aware of and deal with as it pops up. The target prioritization is going to be important, and that's one of my weakest suits. So I think there'll be a few instances of ignoring and dying to the thing in the corner that I should have prioritized and didn't. Right, enough waffle. Thank you very much as always for looking, and I will speak to you in the next one. Take care.